It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome everybody to Insight. I am your host tonight, Nick Asselta, coming to you from the Quinn restaurant on Lincoln and Landis in Vineland, New Jersey, and it's my pleasure tonight to be the interviewee of Mayor Anthony Fanucci here, and we've had some great interviews in the past, and I expect the same. We're going to be very informative tonight to the people in the county and the people, especially in the city of Vineland. So let's get started, Mayor. I know we preliminary talked about a couple things that are happening. One thing that always is important to me is trash removal.
Yes.
And I know there's a new trash proposal out there. If you want to go over a little bit of the history of what has happened in the last year and where we are today and moving forward in tomorrow.
Absolutely. So there's no secret there's been some challenges with the Atlantic County Utilities Authority, who's the current contract holder for the city of Vineland. We've had a number of issues with them since COVID hit with respect to pickups, missed pickups, employment issues, and alike. But this is nothing strange. It's happening all over the country. I know sometimes we're wrapped up into our microcosm of our own little town and our own city, but it is a national issue that has been affected by, frankly, in my opinion, some poor government across the country. Having said that, the HCUA has tried to keep up pace. They've actively admitted at our council meeting they have not been able to keep up pace with their expansion of their own territory, and it's created some problems. Now, fast forward from where the initial problems happened, we have looked at the skyrocketing gas prices, the cost of goods, with tires and service and maintenance and breakdowns on these trucks. It's extremely expensive, and they have not been able to continue. So they want to cut down. They need to cut down to 1 day a week because they can't continue to handle 2 days a week in the city of Vineland, which is what they've been doing and what we've been used to now for quite a long time. However, most towns in the state of New Jersey, and when I say most, I mean over 90% of them, are at once a week, and no one is as large as we are either. Obviously, everybody knows that Vineland is the largest geographic city in the state of New Jersey at 69 square miles. It's a tremendous amount of territory, but we've worked with them to continue through the end of this next 15, 16, 17 months of this contract, and we're going to be actively looking to get some new proposals and work on things in the future. We wanted to make sure that we maintain proper pickup for our residents. It's unfortunate the only way we can do it now is that once a week. However, I think people will get used to that very quickly. Additional trash cans are available. If anyone needs one, additional recycling cans are available as well through the solid waste department and Sharon.
So this is like the completion of the original contract, the next 16, 17 months, right?
Yeah, more or less. They had opted to try to terminate their contract at the current rate of 2 days a week because they just can't keep up with the flow. Therefore, they said they had to renegotiate this to once a week. And we did put out a request for proposals. We had no takers at that time.
And Vineland's a difficult town to operate in as far as trash removal. The ACUA, having also a home in Atlantic County, I constantly get texts, we can't pick your trash up today. And I'm right there in Atlantic County, so they can't even really service their own county too well. So maybe this is a good thing. After this contract is up, we go back to the private sector and look for somebody that really can focus on doing the job for Vineland and a couple other towns in Cumberland. So the residents ought to expect, when does that 1 week start?
Great question. August 1st.
August 1st, okay. So the rest of this month, 2 more weeks this month, you could still put your trash out that second day.
Correct.
But beginning August 1st, it's your day, that 1 day that you have designated, that's it.
Correct. And this has not been an easy situation for us either. And, there are some people that are critics about the situation. I get their frustration. We all do. We're very frustrated too.
Yeah.
However, we've been working diligently to come through this mess as cleanly as we possibly can. And we've gotten to a point that we know what we need to do. We've broken the city down into quadrants. We know the type of pickup we need and how we need it handled. So I think that by the time we have an opportunity to really bid this out far enough in advance for a private hauler or someone to come in, we're hoping they come in competitively. We just have no idea where it's going to come out right now because, again, between supply chain issues, fuel prices, and just this inflation that we're facing all around the country, we're not insulated from it here.
No. Also, another issue the ACUA is going to have to face in the next 3 to 5 years. Their landfill will close. There'll be a capacity. That means whoever the new bidder is going to have to utilize a landfill in Cumberland / Salem County, Gloucester County, and Atlantic County is not going to be in the cards anymore. They're actually going to have to take their trash and move it either to Cape May or Cumberland. So,
interesting. That's a great point.
Yeah. They've been resisting some good ideas by the private sector over the last 2 years. And it's a shame because the private sector knows now when you advertise that you're not going to be in business any longer, that triggers all the entrepreneurs out there in the private sector to say, I got a good idea how to handle this. And they just don't want to accept that. They've been pretty resistant. Let's move on to economic development, Mayor, and the marketing and rebranding of the city of Vineland, which I know you're currently engaged in.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's been something that when we took office in January of 17 was extremely important to us. We felt the branding of the city was stale. It was very old, it was outdated, things were antiquated, and we began with, revamping a logo, revamping a website, revamping marketing plans, running it efficiently like a business would run, as much as you can possibly run government like a business. But it has worked out for us. Our recognition for the city of Vineland, our brand recognition has grown significantly in the last 6 years. We are recognized, obviously.
What do you attribute that to? Maybe the commercial or just generally the economic development atmosphere and environment now? People are out there, businesses are out there searching.
We've had a boost based on that current climate. However, I really attribute it to the national marketing plan we put together. So by social media today, as you know, the standards are so much better in getting bang for your buck, and you can get across the country, with one click, right? And it's way more cost effective. We stayed regional. We took a multifaceted approach. We've done some print. We've done much digital. We've done regular television as well, which gets us nice regional play. People see that. You're in their living room. It's not just on a mobile device or a computer. So we've tried to attack every segment that we can and every demographic that we can. Male, female, married, not married, every age bracket. We've targeted certain areas. We've done things in the nonprofit sectors to make Vineland get recognized and to get some of the national recognition we've received by some of the print and some of the digital ads we've done has been incredible. We've been able to secure a spot on PBS, which was very difficult for anything because they're always afraid it's going to become political. And we've navigated those waters very well. We're on their news. We're constantly, people are seeing that and sharing it. Moments like this where, this program tonight obviously is brought to us on television, digital media. It's extremely important that people realize the power of that. And frankly, you change the perception. In today's world, no matter what the business is, you see the youth living their life on social media. And you see businesses living their business life on social media. So perception has a lot to do with it. And I think internally, you know how it is around here. Some people have been down on the city for years. Now it's a whole different sense of pride. There are so many accomplishments for us to be proud of, albeit our sports teams, our business environment, cleaning up the city, and just our quality of life. Many things you fought for in the Assembly and Senate for how many years?
Yeah, 13, it's a continuing process.
Right.
Got to keep working on it for sure. Active shooter training. That's kind of like a timely thing. Obviously, everything that's happened around the country in the last month or so has pointed us in a direction because you always think, could this happen in our hometown? And I think more towns got to be more prepared for a worst case scenario and understand you're already proactively looking into that.
Correct. Some years back, we partnered up with the county and the state police to do a training at the old Prudential building, which is Lakeside, right?
Yep, Lakeside.
So, and that was an interesting thing to be a part of. We've since taken that all these years and continued to do certain drills, certain tabletop exercises, discuss plans. But since the Texas shooting has really resonated with so many in the schools, it was a frightening thing. It had people on edge, especially during primary day this year. A lot of folks were on edge because schools were wide open, and you only have Board of Election people there. If somebody, God forbid, came into one of those buildings, they'd never be able to stop them. So we had a conversation immediately after primary day. I brought our team in and I said, I really think we need to get back to on the ground, boots on the ground, hardcore active shooter training. So our OEM office, which Lou Tramontana, Chief Tramontana heads up for me, Director Franchetta from Fire, Director Alisea, Chief Cassiano and his team, and Chief Sirocco from EMS have gotten together. We've worked with the school district. We're going to be doing some training next week live on, I believe, the 28th of July. And this is going to be at Vineland High School, and it will be a full simulation of what exactly would be going on there in the
11, 12, 9,
yes,
10?
11, 12 building, yep. So they're on it, and
So
we're going to be drilling, and we're going to be working at other buildings at different points of the year too.
So it's, I was on the Vineland School Board, you were on the Vineland School Board. Simple things that need to be done is secure buildings all the time. Vineland had created the security system way back in the early 90s. They were way ahead of the game. I know we had members on the board that were against it. We don't need guards and weren't thinking further ahead. But something as simple as a locked door can save a tragedy like that happening. And it's a shame. So the more you can do proactively, working with not just the city, but the school board and in concert with making sure everybody's on the same page with this stuff.
Well, you know what happens in these situations. An attitude or an ego gets in the way. Somebody doesn't want to be told that they're wrong, but a locked door, you're right, it's the most common sense approach, Nick, and people miss the common sense every day. And you have arguments during this kind of stuff, and there are people with very strong beliefs on both sides, whether they should have security guards at all, let alone armed guards,
metal detectors,
metal detectors, what role the police should be playing. And my goal as a mayor is not on my watch, right, and hopefully never on anyone's watch in this city. God protect all of us, hopefully, and our children. At the end of the day, I've made our police department available to the school system. They have direct access to them. There are no excuses on why they cannot communicate and why these drills, if God forbid ever needed to be brought into reality, should not function properly.
You're ready for it.
Yeah, you are. As
the worst case scenario.
As ready as you can be.
And it appeared that town in Texas was not trained for it or ready for something.
Sad,
that magnitude.
It's very sad, and and there are so many arguments for so many reasons on why these things happen. But at the end of the day, mental health issues are real and they're prevalent in society. Whether people believe it or not, they're out there. There's arguments over guns. There's arguments if it's not a gun, it's a bomb, right? How many times have you heard bomb threats over the years?
Right.
There's always something there, and frankly, where there's a will, there's a way. If somebody wants to get at somebody, they're going to figure it out. And frankly, they have nothing but time on their hands, and they're not in the right frame of mind. So you're trying to prepare for these scenarios, and you want to make sure you have the proper training, the proper apparatus, whether you're triaging someone or you're taking out a potential shooter. But it's important that this doesn't become a thought process. It becomes instantaneous, right? Almost like military training.
Right.
They need to just get into damage control mode and go and handle it and take out a shooter.
I'm sure that's questions on everybody's mind around here. Could this happen in Vineland? Could this happen in Millville? I'm sure it could. As long as we're prepared the best we possibly can, and worst case scenario, that's all we can ask for the city to do.
Correct. So
government
we're trying.
to do.
And we want to work with the Board of Education continuously on these issues. We've had many good meetings. They're very receptive now to what these plans are, and I believe they're listening to our experienced officials in this vein. So I just hope that relationship continues and we're able to grow upon that and keep everyone safe at all times. The last thing you want to hear is something like this happens anywhere, let alone in your own hometown.
And it's real. It's real out there. Smart cities, Mayor, I think we touched on this about a month or two ago. What's the update on Smart City?
So we're cruising along now, which is great. We've had more meetings with our consultants. We've identified the areas of the city where we can start to begin the construction to become this internet service provider here. And we are really looking forward thinking now in how we want to time it. So we've pretty much got a budget under control, where we think we know where we're going to be infrastructure cost wise. And now we're still identifying some things with the utility and sites. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of buzz around us because people know we're literally way ahead of everybody by years in development, because we really had this ready to go pre-COVID, and if we were able to reached that point in 2019 before that shutdown in 20, we probably would be 2/3 of the way through building out the remaining infrastructure needed by now. So we're a little bit delayed, unfortunately, but we're still light years ahead of majority of any other city in this state that I know of, let alone around the country, in preparing. So we're assessing. Hopefully by sometime next year, we'll be able to get ready to go out to bid on the construction of the remaining pieces that would need to be constructed. Hopefully award that bid by the end of next year, because it's a complicated process. It's not just, a plug here and a plug there, as you know. It's fiber optic networks, it's, a lot of infrastructure. But we're really moving in the right direction, and I'm very excited to see that construction start, hopefully in 24.
Where in 24 would it be offered? In certain segments of town, or?
We're hopefully, so we're going to pilot probably somewhere in the industrial park first.
Okay. Right.
And to make sure that this goes where it needs to go before we, really
roll it out residentially.
Yeah. And once we know it can work and withstand, the bandwidth that we want to provide to people and keep it cost effective enough, because the goal is better speed, better reliability, better price point. And that's what we're shooting for. So at the end of the day, if we can get that out there to them and we can see the businesses taking advantage of it, we can then market it to our customers, prepare it for special events, have free Wi-Fi downtown, so people can do their things, and again, post and acknowledge the city and do all these different things that are available to folks. And then while we're doing that, we're capturing data, at all times as well.
Marketing data.
You're going to log in. We're going to know who it is, and if you want that free Wi-Fi though you're downtown, you're going to need to do this. So that way we can continue to market our events.
So that's an ongoing issue, an ongoing project that you can keep reporting on.
Yeah, it's pretty much monthly, because we keep moving a little further down the chessboard. Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be in the industrial parks first.
That's what we're thinking right now, and that's what our consultants are telling us too. It's what we envisioned, and they're kind of in agreement with us at this point. They're going to come down and do some more assessments throughout the summer and fall also with the electric utility and our engineers there, which have done an incredible job. And our IT director has done a yeoman's job at really moving my initiative forward quickly this year. And you know what? We're pretty happy with the progress we're making. We've been working with, we had a virtual meeting with Senator Booker's office recently in regards to broadband infrastructure money that the federal government has. They're still trying to figure out how this is going to roll out. The BPU apparently is going to be getting involved, even though we're not regulated that way. And this is a federal thing. I'm not sure why they're using the BPU, but you might have insight on that.
They have the telecom division has certain responsibilities, not total responsibilities, because it's a federal issue, the FCC. But they do have some regulatory power over, not over pricing, but over service.
Okay.
And service reliability, and that's what they're concerned with the BPU in charge of.
Okay. So there you go.
Because the price points and all the funding that's involved is more federal with the FCC, setting rates and costs.
Okay.
The BPU doesn't have any. No state board of public utilities has control of that.
Apparently they're going to try to, from what I'm understanding, the funding might be coming through them. So I guess
probably
maybe the feds might be sending it down to the state level through the BPU.
It'll be sent to the governor's office. He refers it to the BPU. They have their own division. They have a telecom division.
Okay.
They have a director and a whole staff of people that interact with Verizon and Comcast on a daily basis. When you have complaints, you call it in. So they're probably going to be part of the whole process. Right.
That's good to know, because I was a little confused on how in the world they would be involved, but you gave me some good insight part of the fun.
That was one of my disciplines there, and I had to constantly interact with Comcast and Verizon on a host of issues, visit their sites, tell them what some of the customers, some of the clients in New Jersey were saying, but we could never touch the rates. The rates were all set federally.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
Yeah, it ties your hands a little bit.
It does, yeah, I'm sure. So we're hoping we'll get some of that.
But at least there's some control on the local level, right?
Yeah, they are telling us there's billions available in infrastructure money. So we're hoping that at some point it'll filter.
New Jersey's targeted for quite a bit of money coming down the pike here for it.
So, I mean, since we're going to be pretty much shovel ready, if you will, pretty soon.
That's what you have to be ready. When this money becomes available, the projects that are going to get funded first are the ones that are shovel ready. And that's why you're doing the right thing by saying, here we are, we're ready to go. We want to be first in line.
And there's and to Senator Booker's credit, he immediately set a meeting for us virtually with his team. His team actually was very receptive, and we had great communication on really where we are, and they were shocked to see how far along we really were. But we met with several folks on that call or that Zoom meeting, Teams, whatever they are. There's so many programs anymore, but it was incredible to hear where people are just starting now. If you're just starting now, you're so far behind the race. It's unbelievable.
Right. So it's good that you're that far ahead.
Yeah, we're
and they
looking forward to
recognize that. And the senator's office will say, "Hey, Vineland should be one of our pilot."
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for, and that's why I kind of want to stay in their face, with it in a professional manner. But we're here. By the way, so my IT director's now had good constant contact via email now with his people. And, he pledged to make sure that South Jersey wasn't forgotten with this months back prior to last year's election. And I said, I told him, I'm going to hold you to that. And he said, I hope you do. And we have, and I give him credit because he's been receptive to talking with us down here and helpful in that vein. So we're appreciative of that. It's not often we see any acknowledgement down here. As you know.
I think what you have to do is you constantly got to, I was taught a long time ago, if you don't raise your hand and ask, you don't receive. They don't search out.
No.
You gotta be very vocal on that and constantly be calling them and say, come down for a meeting. We're doing the same thing in Cape May on a big project down there, and they're helpful to us too down there. Let's move on. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a time out here and let our advertisers take over a little bit, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
For home, auto, and business insurance in the tri-state area, there's only one place to go, and that's Hardenberg Insurance. At Hardenberg, we use our 60 years of experience in the insurance industry and leading-edge technology to provide a strategic plan to best meet the needs of our clients. Our staff's expertise extends to all varieties of insurance coverages and allow us to keep pace in this continually evolving industry. When you are looking for home, auto, or business insurance, make sure to contact Hardenberg Insurance.
I'm Brian Lankin, third generation business owner, Al Shoes. Been at the same location since 1961, our 61st year. We specialize in work boots, work shoes, orthopedic shoes, baby walking shoes, and school shoes. We go up to a men's 17 and a woman's 13. It's $5 off 25 and 10 off 100 if you mention that you've seen this.
Coffee. Ah, the smell of fresh roasted coffee beans. The aroma, the taste, and the warmth of a fresh hot cup of coffee. It gets the day going. It's a daily ritual for many people. Imagine how much more a fresh taste of God in the morning would get your day off to a great start. Come visit us. We'll tell you how. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
Have you ever wanted to make the big money? Have you ever wanted to drive the big construction equipment? Here's your chance to go to school, learn the big machines, and start a new career. MCITC is a heavy equipment operator training school that offers you the opportunity to learn to use the big machines and start earning the big benefits. Don't hesitate. Call today 856-825-6655. That's 856-825-6655. Or visit our website at mcitcnj.com.
Let's hear more from the style fan.
For home, auto, and business insurance in the tri-state area, there's only one place to go, and that's Hardenberg Insurance. At Hardenberg, we use our 60 years of experience in the insurance industry and leading-edge technology to provide a strategic plan to best meet the needs of our clients. Our staff's expertise extends to all varieties of insurance coverages and allow us to keep pace in this continually evolving industry. When you are looking for home, auto, or business insurance, make sure to contact Hardenberg Insurance.
I'm Brian Lankin, third generation business owner, Al Shoes. Been at the same location since 1961, our 61st year. We specialize in work boots, work shoes, orthopedic shoes, baby walking shoes, and school shoes. We go up to a men's 17 and a woman's 13. It's $5 off 25 and 10 off 100 if you mention that you've seen this.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Hey, we're back with Insight here with Mayor Anthony Fanucci of the City of Vineland, and we've been touching on many topics, one of which I want to get into right now is roads and infrastructure. To me, that's important to the fabric of any community. Is how is my road getting fixed? When is it getting paved?
Yeah.
When is all this stuff happen? It's important. It costs money, and it costs a lot of coordination has to take place. So where are we with your road plan?
So we're picking up steam again on the road paving projects and the upgrades to the underground utilities. It's been a process. You know, before I took office, there was a number of years prior to that infrastructure was not a priority in the city to those administrations. And, you know, they had their own topics that were important to them. That wasn't one of them. When we took in, we're very infrastructure driven, because without good infrastructure, you don't have good economic development.
Right.
You don't have safe routes to schools. You know, you don't have good access for your elderly or your children, and it's important. So one of the things we focused on, as you know, and we've talked about, is paving these roads. But before we're paving them, getting underground, updating, you know, utility infrastructure, whether it's working with the Land and Sewage Authority, South Jersey Gas, Verizon, whoever else might be underground, you know, the water and the electric utilities, and making sure that they're done. So we don't have to rip a road up after we spend, you know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to pave a stretch because we forgot to go underground. That's been an issue for years too with road paving in the past. It just wasn't a priority. You see these drainage collapses all over the place. You know, these old corrugated pipes are going down. There's new things that are there to replace it. So our engineering team has been very vigilant in coming up with design and design work, as well as some of the outside engineers we bring in as consultants, many of which you know, and do a great job for us here in helping us plan properly for the paving. And, you know, we lost a couple years during COVID, of course, with people not working, the shutdowns, some bad weather, as you know, constrains you with not having asphalt plants open. Or they have the one asphalt emergency plant that stays open, I think, through
Usually
the winter.
40 degrees is usually the cutoff.
Yeah.
But if you're South State, you're open all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And they do an awful lot of work.
They do a
for
lot
us,
of work.
right?
Right.
So we have an aggressive plan that we've been, you know, working with now. Some people have questions because we've done a mixture of things. We've done microsurfacing, right, the thin layer. We've done full overlays and repaving, you know, ripping everything up. And then there's been a pavement preservation process that's been on. That's not my favorite thing in the world. The problem is that because of so many years of neglect, we haven't been able to get to roads fast enough. So they've been using this preservation process to give us a little extra life, a few more years, so till we can program that road to get it done.
Yeah.
But we've been very aggressive with our funding and budgeting to do this without overburdening the taxpayer and trying to catch up on all this infrastructure. You'll notice so many paved roads around Vineland now, and they're getting better. And it's extremely important that we have that cooperation in getting road work. As you know, the majority of the roadway is Vineland. We do have some county, we do have some state. I think there's about 40 to 50 miles of state roadway. There's around 65 to 70 of county, and the remaining 260 or 270 falls on the city. So it's a huge area to pave. If anyone has any questions on the road paving projects, complaints on them, or suggestions, or they want to bring something to our attention, call my office at City Hall. It's 856-794-4011. Let my assistant know your street and your address. We'll have somebody out there. Although we did do a full assessment in 2017 when I took office. It took us about a year to check every road.
Right.
You know, you see those little trucks riding around with little cones on the bottom.
Yeah.
We did that on every inch of roadway for the city. So we have a very good handle on that. We've had to make some pivots because of some bad infrastructure underground. So sometimes you have to change on the fly. But there's going to be a lot. So be careful during the summer. Pay attention. You'll see some detours, but just know it's for the betterment of the city.
Mayor, explain that, like the funding, sharing of the funding responsibility. Like, for instance, from Delsey Drive to Route 55, that's in the planning works, right? 4 lanes, all redone. That's actually a county road, right?
Correct. You have the section of the county there, the section of the state, and the section of the city. But
can you break that down?
Yeah, the overpass belongs to the state. There's a portion right there that goes to the county.
Right.
Coming back from
the Ramada
back goes to the city, right? So right before, there's one stretch that's the county, but then I think where like the Hampton Inn, just past that, going back towards the east, falls on the city. Now we have those that are programmed to be paved, weather willing, labor force willing. They'll be paved this year.
Okay.
That program is in.
So there's a shared cost between those 3 government entities eventually.
Correct.
But you're the point, the city is the point agency that drives the bus on that.
We really try. You know, of course, we lose out to the county. They become the dominant entity. So if the county decides they are not getting to their portion of a roadway for whatever reason, you know, they can pretty much do what they want.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we need to do our part. I caution the county sometimes and tell them, you know, it'll be evident where ours ends and yours begins. So we want to keep going, and we push, you know. You know how it was. I mean, you were very integral for many years in the Senate to helping with state roadways here, and that's a conversation we can have for a full hour, probably on the things that you've seen and been helpful to our community. And people don't realize that all the time. And I am very infrastructure driven. It's probably part of my conservative nature, and it's important because we're also adding sidewalks in many areas where there were not sidewalks. We're adding curbing to help with the flow of water for drainage in areas where it hasn't been. We're trying to be as detailed with these projects and stretching that dollar every way we can. And of course, you know, when you're contributing as much as we are to the state or to the county,
just got our bills this week.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
The breakout is heavily county driven.
Yeah, it's $48 million from Vineland alone right to the county. And you know, people don't realize that sometimes, but it's important to be educated on that, folks, and know where your dollars are going before you start getting critical. Ask the questions and understand what's out there, and that's a big component. So we're looking forward to continuing with our infrastructure plans. We're hoping that sometime they'll pick up on theirs a little bit because it's a big thing.
Is there, like, your engineer and the county engineer, do they coordinate it all or have conversations to that effect?
So we definitely communicate to them what we're doing. And a lot of times we kind of have to operate in our own little vacuum, right? Because we get ignored in one way, shape, or form for some reasons. Sometimes I think it's intentional, although sometimes it's not. I know they're busy and there's a lot of roadway all around, you know, Cumberland County. But we do work very hard to let them know our plans, let them know where we are, let them know where we're going. And thank you. It's nice when you have a fan when you're out at the diner. But you know, we are talking with the utility companies every day, all of them, and they are great right now. Our communication with all the utilities has been excellent. And frankly, South Jersey Gas, which we didn't always, I think, have a great relationship with in the past, since I've been in office, has been wonderful to deal with. And I know you know the folks over there very well. And Nick, they've worked with my engineering team. They've sent their people in. They check in with me personally regularly, like, are we meeting your expectations? Are our team members talking to your engineers? And the coordination is important. People don't realize, you know, it's not just you mill the road and you lay some macadam down and it's over. Maybe a line stripe it if it needs it. It's a lot more detail.
There's a lot more details.
And you know the industry too.
And South Jersey Gas, because the advantage right now is they're still a local company in South Jersey. That's it. They're not owned by some mega company like Atlantic City Electric now. It's owned by Exxon. Right. So it goes a long way when you still have a local control company like South Jersey Gas, with only a limited amount of customers, they can pay more attention to. I know they've done some things in East Vineland in the last few years, help put some new pipe in over there to allow natural gas for some of those homes and farms. So they're doing what they can.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the partnership. I really have to say that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the challenge in Verizon is unique, but they're such a massive conglomerate. I don't know if there's anybody much bigger in the country than them, but they're hard to deal with.
Communications, no, not really.
No,
right.
Yeah, and like Mill and Garden, right, is always a contested intersection. Mill Road belongs to the city, Garden belongs to the county.
Yeah.
The buck's always been passed back. We finally have taken that project on, and we've had a hard time.
Getting a light there.
We're going to be putting the light there. Yeah, we're doing the underground utilities now. We'll be opening that roadway a little bit further to get that light set up. A challenge we've had there too. Verizon was a challenge. Some of the property owners were challenges.
And there's no reason why that whole area, that road should be, because of all the tractor trailer business that happens. You need wider roads, bigger infrastructure, better infrastructure.
They come
a great example is back in the day where the block is. They never had any real infrastructure there until we got involved and widened that whole area, put a traffic light there with all that truck traffic.
Made the perfect sense there.
It made the perfect sense. And once you sell it to DOT and say this is a special project, need it now, they will react.
I remember when that was being built, people were like, why are they putting a traffic light here?
Oh my God.
Now you can't imagine not having it, right?
Imagine that was just 1-2-lane road
Just
getting up
trying to cross the road
on Main Road with those big tractor trailers on each side of the road. So,
and these poor guys are driving all hours of the day to deliver our food.
But that's a great example of any of these industrial park areas. Those roads need to be constantly looked at and improved upon and widened. Sometimes you got to take a little property from somebody, but it's needed. Right?
It's true.
For safety
purposes. So many people are hurt at those intersections. So so we're on it, and we're going to keep the road plan going. As long as I'm in office, we're going to have pedal to the metal. We're going to be aggressive with the road plan and tackle as much as we can, as quickly as we can. But doing it right is extremely important. So our inspectors are on top of the contractors on a regular basis, and we had some challenges with one stretch of the avenue at one point, and we had to go back and have it redone because it wasn't acceptable. So we're also going to maintain quality of work as well.
You got good contractors.
We're very fortunate.
Community policing.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So, we've really ramped up what we're trying to do in getting our officers out to speak to businesses, getting people to have a better relationship. Remember years ago when the beat cops were on the avenue, and
my father was one of them.
I was just going to say, all too well, right?
Yeah.
So you stop in the stores.
He knew everybody.
Yeah.
Walked in every store.
He knew the bad guy on the street, and he knew the good guy over there on the corner. And we're trying to reestablish that. COVID hurt us a little bit with how we were able to community police because of no interaction with the people. There were so many restrictions between, the attorney general's rules and the county prosecutors and the governor and the president and everybody else with how you could interact with people. And now that things are winding down, I think, COVID's probably here to stay in some form. However, being cautious, we're trying to get back out, and we're trying to get people back out there. We're trying to let the businesses know there's a presence. We're trying to keep any bad activity away from those areas and trying to be very proactive in our approach to policing. We're not necessarily looking to, be overly aggressive or do something that's, horrible to anybody. We're not looking at, some of the horror stories from years past. We're looking at a presence so people know officers are there. We're going to maintain safety. We're going to maintain law and order. But we're also there to assist. Some people need guidance. Somebody needs direction. Somebody doesn't know what's happening. Someone is sick. We want an active presence more around because, frankly, our population is growing. But we do have an older population, too, that love to come into town. And sometimes they need a little extra assistance. So we've been fortunate with that. We're trying to enforce people to slow down a little bit on Landis Avenue because they fly through the center of town. Miss those crosswalks. I mean, you can get clipped going to the post office.
I had an issue this past week where somebody always wants to make a left on the avenue. And they hold up all the traffic. And you beep at them and say, that's a double line. You're holding up the entire traffic back to the traffic light because you want to make a left and get a parking spot over there. It's a common problem on that avenue. But the more police presence takes away all those problems.
It does. And
it's all about presence. It's all about visibility. of
You got
law
it. They see that
enforcement.
patrol car. It gives that perception
Yeah.
of safety as well. And listen, there's a lot of things going on now with people having, and like we talked about, mental health issues. There's the homeless, the people that need help, and panhandlers. We're trying to curtail some of that because we don't want to let things get out of control. We want to guide people that need the services to the right spot to get the services, and not necessarily harassing anybody. So that's going to be a big initiative you're going to see over the next several months with our community policing units that are out.
Do they still own bicycles?
We have bicycles.
I
We have
haven't
the
seen them lately.
Segway
So they're
things.
still doing those
Yeah,
things. Okay,
we've
good.
been.
I always thought that was effective.
I like it too because they can,
They
respond
can maneuver.
quicker. Yes,
Maneuver
Yeah.
easily.
and it's more personable. So we have that, and we're going to be seeing more of that coming now that things are kind of getting back to some semblance of normalcy.
Yeah.
So community policing is a big component, and we don't want people afraid of the police. We wanted to establish a rapport with the police. We want them to know that they're there. Really, as the old saying was, to protect and serve. Right back like when your dad was in office.
Right. All right. Okay. Puerto Rican Festival.
Yes.
Speaking of a great event that's been in Vineland for 30, 40 years, I think. Let us know, what's the schedule moving forward? Flag raising, parade, and all that stuff.
Flag raising will be this Sunday at City Hall, I believe, at 1 o'clock. And they're not going to do a week-long stretch of events this year. I believe they're doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the festival at the
In
park.
the park. So you raise the flag on Sunday.
Yeah, parade will be the following Sunday.
Monday and Tuesday, nothing.
Right, and I don't think Wednesday either.
So
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It wraps up that Sunday with a big event in the park.
Big parade.
Always a lot of great food, a lot of great music, a lot of great quality of life and culture. So there'll be a lot going on there, and we encourage people to stop by Landis Park and look at the upgrades we've made to Landis Park. Another one of our initiatives, we paved Landis Park completely. If you haven't been through it,
I've been through it.
we
Oh,
paved
really?
it.
The whole
Yep.
thing? Okay.
Was important, and we're trying to clean it up. We've had great success with upgrading the baseball fields there for the kids. We've upgraded the park facility. We've upgraded the veterans area, which you know very well.
Yeah.
The Mother's Garden. We've done a lot there to
Well,
beautify
it's the
that
city
park.
park.
Yeah.
And let me segue into that because there's been a lot of talk about parks in general. Vineland has a tremendous park system.
Yes.
And I know Bridgeton has their park and Millville has theirs, but tell me a little bit about Vineland. How many parks do you actually have out
Oh
there?
my goodness. We probably have close to a dozen.
Multiple parks
Yeah.
at different locations, spread out geographically, and they all serve a different purpose. Sports facilities, but Landis Park is the hub. That's always been the hub of the city, and the nicer that looks,
Yeah.
it makes the city look a lot
Listen, in
better.
the 1800s, people were going to that park.
Right.
And I know that sounds odd, but when you look back into the history, it's where they used to have the prayer vigils. People would come from all over the place and gather in Landis Park because it was so centrally located, and you could access it from any area in Vineland, from outside the county, coming in from Salem or Gloucester or Atlantic, right on the way in. And it was sad because for a number of years it was neglected. That was another thing that we brought forward as an initiative in my administration was a schedule of upgrades to the parks and making them better, more viable, more usable, more attractive and beautiful.
That's it,
again.
usable and attractive.
You know,
That's important. So you have already a basis
correct.
and all you need to do is continually put more money and improve it and upgrade it.
And that's the thing. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's
No,
already there.
right.
All we have to do is make sure we reshape it.
Gianpietro Park has always been
And we're making
a gem.
upgrades to Gianpietro Park. We've done it at South Island Park, which is now named after Mayor Campanella. We've had all the baseball fields, Palugi Park, which we all know is Magnolia Road Park.
Right.
Pickleball courts are there. We're really trying to address quality of life for so many people. We have a cricket field at Catone over on Oak Road.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Really?
some folks called us back then and said, "Hey, listen, we want to play cricket. We need an area." And it's like, "Okay, we're at." And they're like, "Well, we like it over at Catone Park." Okay. We got the recreation. I got the Bob Dickinson, our business administrator. Bobby D jumped right on it, got Dale involved, and we have a cricket field. I mean, we have so many different sports to add to the quality of life for the people here. Volleyball. There's a huge volleyball group over there that likes to play. There's pickleballs, the craze. That's out there.
It is. Right.
It's very, very interesting. So
So many opportunities out there. But Vineland has a park system that is already in place. Just needs more things could be added as it evolves into a bigger system. I know I don't know much about Millville system. I know Burston has the
By the zoo.
the zoo and
Johansson.
that nice little zoo,
Yep.
and they have park system there too. So, obviously the county is not short on parks. Probably just needs to be enhanced a little bit
It'd be nice
more
if they
money.
could organize everything
Yeah.
like in a system, if you will, like a park structure.
Right.
I know I've had this conversation with several people over the years. We don't have a countywide parks and rec system, which is surprising. I think we're one of the few, right, that doesn't.
I think so, but every county is different. I mean, there's a lot of counties that towns don't have the kind of park system we have.
This is true. And
We have 3 cities in this county, and they're all pretty active, large cities, good-sized cities.
And it's nice, and I'd like to cross promote,
Right.
when possible, because I think it's important for people to see that. But there's a lot of pride that goes into what we're doing here, especially in Vineland with the park system. I know, like the Cohansey Park and the zoo there, there's a lot of pride into that because that's been around since probably
Long.
Yeah, I know as a kid we used to go there, and I still go with my kids, out there to see it. And
Well, that's a great little park. Obviously, Cape May County has a great zoo,
oh yeah,
but Cape May County is a different animal because they're on a different scale than we are financially.
the rateable base is tremendous.
Yeah, one town in that county equals most of our county.
I can only imagine.
Like Ocean City, for instance.
I can't imagine how many billions their rateable base must be down there.
Ocean City's like 12 billion.
Wow.
That's just Ocean. Think about Cape May City,
Yeah, jeez.
Avalon, Stone Harbor, you name it. So they can do some things that maybe we can't do. So we got to be more creative, and utilize our dollars as efficient as possible. Let's finish up. I know you've been a great supporter of Jack Tutorelli, and I know Jack since the assembly days, but
That's where you guys served together, right?
we just for I was in the Senate, he was in the Assembly, but after I left and went to the BPU, him and I had many conversations trying to give him information and help. And he's an old guy from the printing industry like I was, so we kind of bonded with that. But how's he doing? I know he ran a heck of a race.
Yeah.
One county, which I always said years ago, all my experience in gubernatorial politics is you got to win Bergen County. Bergen County has 1.2 million people in that county.
Wow.
We have 165,000. So that
incredible.
one county covers all of South Jersey.
Right.
So you got to at least break even in Bergen. He basically won all of South Jersey, and he's a talented guy. And I hope he's interested in doing it again.
I'm sure he is. He's a super guy, a great human being, a wonderful, father and husband, was a great, successful businessman. We're very fortunate in New Jersey. We've had a lot of people that get into leadership positions over the years. We've had a lot of great ones. I believe there's a guy there that, like us, believes in common sense government, and has a lot to offer. We've seen some financial minds between Governor Murphy and Governor Corzine, and having bright financial mind needs to be coupled with good policy making minds, right? And working minds across the aisles and dealing with the legislature, and that's a challenge for some, as we see, right? But Jack seems to be that kind of guy that can bridge those gaps and is a very honest, hardworking person. I've never seen anybody campaign like him.
He was relentless.
It's incredible up and down this state.
Basically, what I like about his profile is he's a private sector guy that got into government late, took that experience from the private sector, building companies, working with employees on a continual basis. That's where you build your skill set to become a leader in government. A lot of these people, you mentioned some of these former governors, they never had that kind of skill set or experience.
Right.
They come right from, like Governor Whitman. What experience did she have? Running a business,
Right.
or interacting with employees on a continual basis, getting to know what people need, how to work and how to run their lives, help them in their lives. So Jack has all those qualities that I can't think of another governor in a long time that had those same private sector qualities and tried to insert them into at the highest level.
It's a challenge.
But he came close, and I hope he's still interested because we need somebody like that, I think. Right?
Yeah, listen, you know what? Anytime I think you can get someone with good, successful business ideas to incorporate common sense in the government, and much like we've done here, we've taken a very business-like approach.
And we've groomed leaders here locally. We have leaders. We have our senator here. We have you. We have leadership here that has come through the ranks and knows what it takes, what the average family needs, because we come from not a wealthy county here. We know what the average family needs as far as government services goes. They need opportunities, and that's what I think is a great quality of you and our legislators, especially Senator Testa, and we're hoping for the best for both of you. So we're going to wrap this up.
Thank you.
Insight, another great segment with Mayor Anthony Fanucci. We look forward to you guys tuning in again.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.